Ladies and gentlemen, here's your stimulus check update and second stimulus check update for July 3rd, 2020. In this video, I'm going to tell you what National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow, the White House Chief Economic Advisor, said on national TV in regards to the pandemic unemployment assistance, the $600 weekly payment that the federal government is funding for people on unemployment insurance. First off, just bear with me while I put everything into context so you can have an objective perspective on everything that is going on surrounding the additional rounds of stimulus and the pandemic unemployment assistance most specifically. You know how GOP leaders, members of the Trump administration, the president himself are labeling pandemic unemployment assistance, the $600 extra payment for people on unemployment insurance, as a disincentive, is actually, according to them, discouraging people to get back to work. Out of all people to say this, Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader, as you know, Democrat senators put out a bill that plans to continue the pandemic unemployment assistance, but to slash it by $100 every single time that the state's unemployment rate drops below 11%, and $100 for every point below that until you get to 5% or so. Mitch McConnell's response was that it was a big mistake, that it's a big mistake to continue pandemic unemployment assistance, that he does support continuing regular employment benefits. Nonetheless, it's a disincentive to get people back to work. Out of all people, Mitch McConnell, according to a FEC filing, his father-in-law gave him a monetary gift of $5 million to $25 million, shot up his net worth immediately over $7 million. And he's talking about that it's a disincentive to getting people back to work. You contribute towards unemployment insurance. It's just bonkers. You contribute to unemployment insurance, and so does your employer. So what's he mad about? All these people, they're worth millions of dollars, and they're complaining. Now, National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow, on Bloomberg, worldwide TV, he stated that, again, sticking to his guns, sticking to the administration guns, that pandemic unemployment assistance is disincentivizing people to get back to work, of course, and then the Bloomberg reporter pressed him on it. He asked Director Kudlow, what is the data that actually substantiates your contention that it is discouraging people to get back to work? It's going to blow your mind what this guy said. He stated that he has anecdotal evidence. That's verbatim. He used the exact word anecdotal. You know what anecdotal means? Go ahead and look it up. Just type in define anecdotal on Google. Anecdotal means it is not reliable. It's not coming from reliable information. It's coming from personal accounts, not based on evidence or research. He has the gall to say that. All he said was that a couple of small business owners called him and called his colleagues, and they're complaining they can't get people back on payroll because the unemployment insurance benefits that the federal government is funding is way too generous. And these people are coming with these contentions also not based on fact. They don't know what the hell is going on. People are not studying any of this stuff. So he said it anecdotal, no proof. Now, what does the proof read? What does the data actually say? University of Chicago found that about 2/3 of people, 68% of people who are collecting pandemic unemployment assistance are making more money collecting pandemic unemployment assistance than they would at their job. Now, this is going to blow your mind because this just completely, just listen to me. 20% of the people collecting pandemic unemployment assistance are making twice as much as they would at their job. Is that bonkers or what? That opens up a whole new can of worms, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because minimum wage is too low. Wages are too low, period. We are living in a time where it is way too hard for people to buy their own home. Sometimes everybody in the household is working, and people don't own their own home. Whereas the United States, back in the 40s, back in other times, in other decades, only one household member was working and a family owned their own home. That doesn't exist anymore. People keep talking about let's make America great again. What about making America affordable again? And now with this pandemic, it's gotten worse. You know, as per my last videos, prices of groceries have shot up incredibly. Prices of meat and veal up by 18.2%. Prices of food overall up by 4.8%. Prices of gas for fuel, 20.5%. Yet they still want to propose TRIP acts and want to reimburse you for money that you have to pay for first to try to save these industries. And they state, so that basically gives them a reason to continue unemployment insurance and start focusing on increasing wages so people have the money to be able to afford their essential items and non-essential items that are produced by these industries that the administration and lawmakers want to save. What does the rest of the data read? Chicago Federal Reserve released a report finding that people who are on unemployment insurance actually make more of an intensive effort to look for a job than people who have exhausted their benefits. So if you are on unemployment insurance, you actually spend more time looking for a job than if you already exhausted your evidence. What does the numbers read? People who are still collecting unemployment insurance look for a job on average for 14 hours a week and send out 12.6 applications on a monthly basis. People who have exhausted their benefits only search for a job for 12 hours a week and send out about 9.7 applications on a monthly basis. Of course, it makes perfect sense because if you've got most of your essential items covered, you've paid for your rent, you've paid for your food, things you need to actually survive, then you are more encouraged to go out and find work. And you spend more time doing it. Whereas if you're completely discouraged, you're like, man, another day I can't find a job. Oh man, all right, let me just go out and put out some applications. You make a half-assed effort in going out and searching for a job because you're so discouraged that you're not. And when you get the first offer, you take it. And that's not coming from me. It's coming from the Chicago Federal Reserve. These are the professionals, the economists who are mandated to run our economy. Coming from the Federal Reserve, central bank. They found that people who have exhausted their unemployment insurance benefits are more likely to take lower paying wages, lower paying job than people who are on unemployment insurance. If you're still collecting unemployment insurance, you're more likely to take a higher paying job because you have the safety net to cover that, to be able to negotiate. You've got an offer for 40 grand, you say, no, I don't want that. Then another offer comes in for 60. You know what? Give me 70 or give me 75 or whatever the case may be. And you're more likely to get it because you ask for it. Whereas if you're not collecting unemployment insurance, I got to take, I'm going to pay you $9 an hour. I got it. I got to do it. It's either that, starve, be homeless. There are people in this country who work 40 hours a week, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and they're still homeless. People who are home health care workers. That's a profession. You have to actually get certified to be a home health care professional. And people who have that profession are homeless. People who are chefs, homeless. So what about making America affordable again? What about fixing the wages that companies are paying in this country? Because according to CBOs, as I've said on previous videos, in 2011 they reported that people who receive higher paying wages on a regular basis are more likely to spend, contribute towards consumption, which constitutes 70% of the gross domestic product, the monetary value of goods produced in a country within a specified period of time. You and I, people who consume, we make up 70% of that. And we are only more likely to do that if we're making higher paying wages. So they need us to make more money in order to save this economy. And nonetheless, they plan on cutting the only weapon that you have to save this economy, to keep it from dying, to keep it expanding and build on your portfolio. I don't know where these people are thinking out of right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the data that you need to produce when you go ahead and call these representatives at 202-224-3121, the Capitol Switchboard, and let them know that the data is substantiating. You need more rounds of stimulus checks. NEC Director Larry Kudlow, he stated during that interview that the president wants more rounds of stimulus checks. He knows it is popular. He knows that CNBC and Change Research found that 74% of swing state voters want recurring direct payments. And other studies have found that people want more rounds of direct payments. Nonetheless, now the news cycle is so dominated they don't even get behind that anymore. They don't talk about that as much, but you demand it. What are we celebrating tomorrow? July 4th, Independence Day. Declaration of Independence. It clearly reads, secure, that we have certain inalienable rights. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And if a government stops us from securing those rights, we have a right to alter. We, the people who are governed, that empower these leaders, we have the right to alter or abolish this government and institute a new government that helps us secure our safety and our happiness, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Watch this video right here for more additional stimulus coverage. Click the like button if you like the video. Click the subscribe button to stay on top of my findings. I will do my best to report what other people will not. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America and everybody else on this planet. Happy Independence Day, ladies and gentlemen. Talk soon.